Bromley roads. So, can we fire away with the apology
Community
accepted?
Board people.
Right,
So Bromley Roads?
Bromley roads. Item
Bromley
10.
Roads. So Bromley Roads is one of the walking projects within the Transport Choices program. It covers a range of different locations within the Bromley area, and they were selected based on a number of criteria, but primarily it was around what we were aware of community concerns and also the alignment with the Transport Choices program.
69.2% of the 26 submitters were in full support that this proposal would improve safety at intersections. Key themes included speaking of existing safety issues such as on Cypress Street and on Hay Street, support for the intersection upgrades that are proposed, concerns around burnouts and cruising, and requests for further speed bumps, traffic calming, and a whole dedicated project to focus on Cypress Street. My understanding is that other projects can be picked up to address additional concerns, but that no direct changes were made to these intersections as a result of consultation, or that there was some changes made to the scheme plans. I think more safety audit kind of stuff.
Sorry, I'll add one more thing. So this is similar to the craft projects in that they went to the community board. There was a list of projects that underneath. The funding we had only took us so far down that list, and SURF has given us an opportunity to move that line much further down. So it's allowing us to deliver a lot more for the money that we as ratepayers have.
Thank you. And I just draw your attention to 61 in the resolution that Councillor Johansson requested we add this, which I think is a good idea, and staff have agreed that's a good idea. And I just have a quick question around the board chair was questioning whether we could raise that roundabout at Hay Street because people are just driving over it. Your answer is probably going to be not as part of this project, but would that be something that could be addressed at some point? Or do we just monitor what the changes are going to be here and what they do?
I've clarified what we're doing there with the designers. So that roundabout isn't painted on, it is raised. It is a mini roundabout, it won't be full curb height. But there are build-outs surrounding the roundabout that will horizontally deflect traffic as it goes through that are full curb height.
Excellent.
But we're constrained on what we can do because the buses have to be able to track over it, unfortunately.
Thank you, that's helpful. Right, questions, Councillor Johansson? Oh, hang on, we have a mover and seconder for this one,
Yeah,
please.
I'm happy to move
Councillor
it.
Donovan,
Yeah.
Councillor Kewen.
We actually don't want the buses going down Hay Street. That's been one of the key reasons why the community board has wanted to get a Bromley traffic plan. So can we make the roundabout sufficient so the buses can't use it?
My understanding it could probably be modified later, but we've got to cater for the buses now.
Yeah, and that would be a big process, Yanni, that would have to go through ECAN with the routes and everything, but to monitor...
It's a bus, it's a shortcut. Oh, so is there a bus route that goes down
the
there as well?
155 goes down there, it comes down Ruru,
Okay.
and then
Yeah.
But
Hay
there's
Margaritas.
nothing to stop your community board picking that up
We've
outside
been
of this.
waiting for about, I don't know how many years to get controls on, because there's a bus depot that got put in without any consent that has put buses through here that causes vibration because they speed. So I think anything that we can slow the heavy vehicles down, and hopefully some of these improvements will do that.
Yeah.
But I guess I just wanted to check in terms of like Hay Street in particular. I know we were going to do it as a road renewal too, because of its condition being, we still haven't fixed the earthquake damage. So the works that we're doing on Hay Street, in terms of if we do have to come along later and renew it, that won't, again, it won't be something that we'll have to spend a lot of money undoing.
No, we're working with our assets renewals people on that. We will have to do a certain amount of improving the pavement around the raised tables and things like that because of vehicle loads going up and down the raised tables.
Right.
And
So, I mean, I guess a kind of question for staff, because we did have some money on to do some renewal in Hay Street. Are we able to consider bringing that forward at the same time as the safety works?
When I checked with our assets team, there were short sections on the northern part of Hay Street or eastern part of Hay Street that were being done as renewals, relatively short sections of chip The major section is between Linwood and McGregor's, obviously, and they're looking at programming that as soon as they can, as I understand.
Thank you.
Right, thank you. Any other questions? No, is there any debate on this one? No, all right, Councillor Hanson?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think, you know, this is really, really good to get these improvements made. Fundamentally, you have a combination of two issues in this area. One is the fact that a lot of these roads have never been fixed post-earthquake, and the problem is that creates a lot of vibration, especially when you get heavy vehicles speeding, which seems to go on quite a lot through this area because it's got the adjacency to the industrial and to the what was previously the Go Bus. The Go Bus. What is the Go Bus depot? So you know, I think the community really look forward to these safety improvements that, in some ways, long overdue. There is also budget that we do have around a Bromley roading project through council. Because fundamentally, you know, I guess the problem in Bromley is there's so many different intersections, and so issues like the Maces Road, Dyers Road, traffic lights, how do you reduce the heavy vehicles going through the neighbourhood, and how do you reduce the speed are also still just as important. But yeah, I welcome this project in this local community, making it safe for the kids to get to school, incredibly important, and very real risks that's associated with how people currently go through this area. So I'm really happy to support this. But I do think council needs to consider, in terms of roading renewal, what we're going to do to address some of those bigger issues, because they have gone on for a long time and it is really hard on people.
Thank you. Councillor Kewen?
Yeah, Yanni has been raising this for quite some time, so good on him for getting some action here. Like I'd said earlier, I'm not a huge fan of platforms in particular places, and these would be the sort of places that I generally wouldn't support them, but in this circumstance and in this particular design I do, because they're being used to curb some behaviour that we were shown last year is quite antisocial. There's some people that, the video footage we saw last year was alarming during the annual plan, most will remember, and that's from round here, and the way some of those people were driving, and then if any neighbours went out or took pictures, they'd stop and come back and intimidate, and we can't, the best way for us to stop that behaviour is with this hard infrastructure, and in this case I absolutely support it, and I think it'll do a really good job of curbing that, because there's some idiots out there and they need their behaviour curbed.
Thank you. So Councillor Peters, then Councillor Barber.
Thank you. Yeah, I fully concur with this interventions to try and curb some of the antisocial behaviour, and hopefully as a council we can look to use this in other places where there are serious problems with antisocial behaviour. Certainly around my Hornby area there's plenty of it, and we'd like to investigate looking at this sort of idea out there. So yep, let's get this done and let's see if we can't make this a better place.
Yeah, I'm not going to add a lot more, but yeah, I tend to agree. I think that those of us that saw that behaviour on video were a bit shocked, and I think there are some areas, unfortunately, where this is really the only solution. There are some parts of my ward, or the ward that I represent, where they've had to do similar things, and hopefully this will bring about a change, and people will have to drive slower in this particular area. So, yeah, fully supportive.
Excellent. I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. And our final report for today is item 5.